Hello, everybody. My name is Ita. I'm really happy to bring you the first match for both these teams in the ESEA Advanced regular season. Savage versus Polar Ace. Two very, well, I guess in some ways to say polar opposite teams. Both incredibly interesting teams at the exact same time here. Lots of question marks when it comes to how they're going to be performing this season. Polar Ace, in particular, is I believe, four of the five players who were Timbermen last season who made it to advanced playoffs. I believe they fell to Oceanus in the top eight or top four. I can't exactly remember, but they made it relatively far. Savage is a bit more of an interesting roster. This is the former core of Peaker's Advantage, mixed with the 46 and 2 roster who got second place in ESEA Open. They're headed by Valens at the lead of things, and Cutler and Semphis are there from Peaker's Advantage. Overall, a lot of interesting things to see what would happen in this game, and Semphis barely sticking through that. Manages to avoid a pretty risky duel over towards Monster. His next challenge up is actually pushing into the site itself. Valens is going to find the first kill, quickly traded out by Dare, who actually finds a double kill. So already doing fantastic work on this pistol round. To 4 versus 3, not all hope is lost for the T's just yet, especially when Insky can hit shots like that. Gets one down onto Dare, the man who was causing ruckus to his team, but quickly traded out, unfortunately, by Eptima, and these duels are just not working out for Savage for the most part. However, they don't need the kills because they have managed to sneak in a bomb plant. Secret agent planting over at the A site will now be trying to set up in a nasty post-plant position, trying to make the bodies line up for him, but unfortunately it's just not meant to be. That will be a defuse on the cards for Polar Ace as they take the first round in this best of one. I really do like the strat that Savage were going for on that pistol, considering, I mean, really for the most part, they didn't seem confident in winning those duels after getting taken down by Dare. So a quick switch up to have your player go A and just try to get the bomb down, I think was a good adjustment for Savage. Ended up getting them a little extra money, so they're able to piece together a little bit better of a buy than they would have otherwise. You see Cutler and Insky are going to be both picking up the AK-47s, heavy amount of utility, and then Deagles. Meanwhile, Polar Ace, it's a pretty typical CT buy here. What makes this so dangerous for Polar Ace, though, is that the money is relatively even between the two teams at the moment. So if Savage can somehow squeak away a win here, which with 2 AKs in their hand is very much possible, they could be in a nasty situation for the next couple of rounds. Agent is going to be trying to sneak through Secret, looking for a frag. The nearest competitor would be Snav, but he's completely backed up to the A site, ahead of the potential dangers of those T's at mid. Now going for courtesy jump spots over towards long, and can actually see into bathrooms as well. Might be able to spot Insky very, very soon upon his next jump. I think he might have seen him. If not, he surely did now. Still jumping. Surprisingly, this contact play has done really well for Savage at the moment here. Deke shots go through, and that's going to force Snav to move his position here. Jump spots come through. Nice nade onto Semphis, but it's Insky to really pay attention to because he's going to be trying to entry in. Cutler's the first to find a frag, followed up by the AZ legend Insky, and they have completely stormed the site, and this is exactly what I was worried about regarding Polar Ace. If they were to give up this round, their economic situation is going to be very, very dire for at least 1 or 2 more. Sure, they can force up pistols most likely next round, but considering they haven't even found an entry into the site that they desperately need, it might be already done. Polar Ace would most likely need to save these guns for another day. They realize it as well. The T's are going to try to chase a little bit, but overall content with the round, not dropping a single player in the midst of things. Savage will get their first on the board. And really, I think it was just the jump spotting wasn't that strong from Snav. He was looking over towards long in particular, but I think the main issue was they were just able to contact up towards bathrooms. It was slight bad timing as well, and just unlucky timing. It does happen, but you know, maybe something like a little more aggressive jump peek so you could see towards bathrooms might be a little more appropriate for the situation. Either way, I don't think that was the end of the world. They only dropped 2 players in the round. I mean, they just knew when to give up, really. Cutler pushing in towards water is going to go ahead and see some nice map control for his team. Meanwhile, an aggressive setup over towards B, and Eptima and Shane will be watching water and monster respectively. From a passive angle, of course, Insky towards connector, roaming around a little bit. Overall, though, the CETs are being very careful on what fights they're taking at the moment here, because they know that they're up against at least 2 AKs from the round prior, I should say. Plus whatever they decide to buy up in this time. Ooh, bad smoke from Eptima gives away the position to Secret Agent, but it goes unpunished, so Eptima will stay alive for now. Unfortunately, it seemed like that smoke just bounced a couple too many times. Rotates in. Snav will now join the party at the B site. As they seem to prep for an execute, Cutler will toss a smoke for heaven and a pop flash in. But then just seem to wait for now. They don't want to push into this site. They still have 40 seconds left to work with here. Time is not the big issue at the moment here. It's getting this first frag. Eptima might be the one on the cards here, but a counter flash comes through from Dare, I believe it was, and that was perfect. Saved his teammate's life as Semphis falls, leaving it a 4 versus 5 with not much time left to spare. It only gets worse and worse as time goes by. Eptima picks up a second frag in the round. Insky's going to do his best to try to claw his team back into this one here. And, well, surprisingly, there's still signs of life yet, but they need to get this bomb down very, very soon. They are not going to have much time to spare as they do it, but they are going to get the bomb down eventually. That's the most important thing. The CT scuffling on this site as Eptima finds a third frag in the round, making it a 2 versus 2. They might have just found a lifeline back into this round, as Shane is going to go ahead, try to hold down the bomb, but the smoke is dissipating, making this a much harder task for him, made impossible as a fact. He goes down. Insky, with a fantastic triple in the round, will go ahead and give his team that elusive second, which looks so far gone after it was a 5 versus 3. I really think the big hero play there was, again, Insky on the A site. Valens was luckily just able to plant at the right time. There wasn't much time to spare as he actually got the bomb down, but they were able to play around it perfectly. Darren Snav we'll be trying to go for a nice little connector stack together here, but the entry is happening over towards B relatively quickly. Water control seized yet again. Pistols for Polar Ace is in the picture, and it's not looking very pretty. Gonna have to be a big ask for them, because this is the second round now that Savage has pulled a fake over towards B, but then ended up executing A. When will Polar Ace learn from this? And I mean, even if they do learn about it and try to, you know, put some countermeasures against it, this maybe isn't the round that it would succeed just based off the lack of artillery that they have. As you see, Semphis has already snuck up into a dirty position right now. First point of contact might come soon, and I could see it being a bloodbath if this initial frag doesn't go the way of Polar Ace. Smoke will soon dissipate over towards connector, but they don't even need to bother with contact. Polar Ace has not spotted a single player. That's the same story for Savage. Semphis does actually manage to pick up a kill with his MAC-10, lining his pockets a good amount. He wants to chase for a little bit more here, but they have to be careful in what fights that they're taking. They seem to be doing just that, and because of that, they'll be awarded with a relatively healthy round. The only person going down is Semphis with that MAC-10. Overall, a really strong start from Savage. But this is where things become scary for, well, Savage, I should say. The CTs are going to be able to buy up the guns that they need. M4s, most likely not going to see an AWP in play. Yeah, indeed, I don't believe that is quite on the cards just yet. But they're trying to switch up what they're going for as well. Aggressive Molotov over towards T-Con, going to zone them out. As you see, Polar Ace are now going to try to take some mid-control. Semphis has made his way out, but he's going to need to pull off a pretty massive play to get out of here alive. He spots one player, just his shoulder. But I believe it's the same story for, what was it, Shane? I believe it was, over towards long. Both teams are kind of at a neutral level of play at the moment. They don't want to extend for any frags. Snav is the closest to being in a dangerous and dirty position. He is not making any noise while doing it, so timing might be in Snav's favor at the moment. He snuck almost all the way through party. Snav has the potential to go big here. Bomb in the hands of Insky at the moment is making its way back up towards connector. Again, Snav is very much in the picture. You have to keep aware of this one because they have no idea where he could possibly be. Sempus has not cleared out party, and he actually has found Sempus over towards mid, but that gives his position away. Snav is forced to back up, and that will allow Savage to reposition slightly, but this heavily, heavily favors Polar Ace at the moment. Heading towards B, Valens will lead the charge. Mac 10 and Stowe. They were going for a double boost, Polar Ace, but they end up just kind of retreating from it before it's able to bear any fruits that they need. Valens is trying to pull a fake over towards B, but again, they're going to be going for that A execute. Valens has made his way surprisingly deep into the site. A fake execute, and then just running straight back. Valens falls, but it's a 5 versus 3. We've seen them do it before. Again, not much time to spare. They need to get this bomb down immediately, and it's already out of time. It's already too late. There's nothing they can do. It's a round, done, dusted. Savage needs to now stay alive. They don't. They struggle in it. Cutler takes down 2 for his trouble, but overall, that's a round that falls flat on its face just because of the complacency, I guess, in some ways to say. Aren't able to get the kills they need until the round is already over, and don't give yourself much time to plant the bomb, ends up coming back to bite them. I honestly think in that case it might have been better for them just to try to execute fully over towards B. Valens made it in surprisingly far before he met any resistance whatsoever. And, I mean, honestly, it was a Snav in particular getting that one vital frag that just stunted the push entirely. Made things so difficult for the side of Savage. Daryl back up. Over towards bathrooms. He will retreat. Snav will join him. As now Savage stay alive for the time being. Sempus has an AWP in hand. 2 Kriegs to work with as well. Savage, even though they went down after the bomb, or at least a couple of players did, their money doesn't seem to be hurting just yet, but they're starting to really scrape the bottom of the barrel. They can't really afford another healthy buy like this one. At least until they start winning a little more convincingly. However, T-Economy works in the sort of fashion that you can't actually get away with a lot of these aggressive and sometimes risky buys, so maybe it's not the end of the world even if they do lose this round, but obviously that's not exactly what they're going for. Lots of utility being expended as they try to make their way through A, or to A, through mid. Cutler watching for any inevitable pushes throughout long. Will have his first challenge in Snav, MP9 in hand, and he loses the duel. The MP9 actually comes out on top. That is going to allow Snav to get a healthy upgrade from an SMG to one of the most powerful rifles in the game, arguably the most powerful rifle in the game. Insky trying to enter in. He only got 1 player. He didn't read the kill feed and find out what player, because there was actually more where that came from. A late execute into the site. Savage, they're barely sticking to their guns in this one here, but they're trying their hardest. Bomb gets planted. Secret Agent on only 4 HP. He is on life support at the moment as the execute, the retake, I should say, from Polar Ace begins. Insane will get that first frag. Savage might be on the brink of losing this one here. Shane is sticking the bomb, and it's too little too late. Secret Agent, although he gets a plant and the nice double follow-up kill at the end, he doesn't strike until it's too late, and his team ends up dropping the round. But they did manage to get the bomb down, plus take down every player of the CTs, so money still favors them relatively heavily. As you see, Polar Ace don't exactly have the healthiest economy to speak of. They're able to afford 1 more full buy, and even that full buy has some asterisks. Nice nade into party. It's going to allow Snap to get boosted up. Actually, so much information given. I'm surprised Snap didn't try to take that pick. They don't know exactly where they are in party, and they're going to be in for a nasty surprise here, surely. But Semphis comes out on top. The man, 615-pound deadlift. He's deadlifting his team to victory at the moment. Picks up 2 immediately off the bat to make this round so good for Savage at the moment. But it's not over till it's over here. Insane dropping doesn't make things much better for his team. Shane is going to go ahead, try to take a little bit of a fight over towards A, but it's all for naught because he falls eventually as well. And Eptima has nothing to say about it. He's forced to back out. Secret Agent will be ready to grace him. Nice shot to the back of the dome. Savage make it 4 in the round. And now this is where things get really depressing for the CTs. They don't really have too much money to speak of. As they're going to be forced back onto pistols. That is just what's so strong about planting the bomb over and over for the Ts. As you see, I mean, they were relatively even on money for a good amount of time there, but it just all fell in one swoop once they lost a round, makes things so tough for the CTs to really get a strong bank together. Water control yet again seized by Savage. Secret agent trying to entry in towards B is not ready for the inevitable pistol rush, and maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe Polar Ace don't need rifles to still make this round work. They pick up 2 right off the bat, sharing rifles with their teammates. That TMO will go ahead, take the Deeg in this scenario. But this is looking so much better for Polar Ace than many other rounds were. They're starting to punish this aggression of Savage a little bit more, leaving them stumbling perhaps. Valens will go ahead, try to probably call the right thing. What is the right mid-round call? Well, it seems that A would be their best bet, but they don't have that information, nor do they have a ton of map control to speak of here. They made part of connector theirs. As they slowly start slinking in together, they'll look to execute. Valens has not spotted the player just yet. Semphis will retrieve the bomb, but they actually has made quite a bit of noise. Insane might be wary of it. But walking is proving to be relatively successful for them so far. Kill for Cutler as they rotate back over to the B site, but it all gets shut down there. Valens, surprisingly, how has this worked yet again for Savage? They made their way onto the A bomb site completely alone. Valens has a nade prep to go. But that is the end of times. Unfortunately, Semphis was the one with a bomb in his hand. He wasn't able to make it to the site safely, meaning that this is going to be another round for Polar Ace. Off the back of pistols as well. That was a round you could not have given them a reasonable shot at winning, but they played that so perfectly. I would love to see that mimicked in their rifle rounds as well. Yo, Gotsy Eben, thank you so much. You are so kind. That really means the world to me. I'm trying my best to be the best caster I can, and I would love to do it as a career if I possibly could. So thank you. It really means a lot to me. And, well, back to the game. Back to the brass tacks. Early nades in from Polar Ace. We'll try to get some nice chip damage onto Savage, but I don't think it's exactly meant to be. The aggression isn't there. Smoke through. That's into heaven. Cracks this bomb site open, but look at this triple boost that they have going on over towards Graffiti. Insane is heading it. But surprisingly, this is one of the few rounds where Savage actually haven't taken water control, and oh my lord, it might be a disaster for them. That Molotov goes out. They're forced to expend a smoke grenade because of it, but 3 CTs just joining the party as they start pushing in here. Cutler and Insky are holding the line, though, as they get the bomb down. Insky is massive. Picks up a double, nearly a triple, but it's Cutler to steal the glory. It's going to be Snab versus 3, but this is a nigh impossible retake, and I think he'll start realizing it soon. If not, he's going to get a nasty surprise. Valens is the one to close the round out, but Insky, 2 incredible entries. I would say entries, excuse me. Just 2 incredible frags to just really secure that round for his team. Valens and Cutler also stepped up to the plate immensely. Get Savage their 5th round, and Polar Ace, they're back onto pistols, but after what we saw them do just a round prior, I wouldn't be surprised if they can pull off the upset yet again. I'm fully convinced at this point. But surely Savage are going to have to be ready for this sort of aggression from Polar Ace. They know that their money is in such dire straits. They seem to have no problem hitting the shots, but it's actually getting into the right locations to prosper. Insky spots at least one player over towards the B, excuse me, but he checks the wrong angle. Plus, the flashbang isn't in from his team, so he ends up looking away. Doesn't even look at his killer in the end. His team scrapes by the round, and wow, that was a nice shot from Cutler to take down Dare. He's hungry for a little bit more, but they can afford to take this slow, Savage. There's absolutely no rush. It's a 2 versus 4, and the 2 CTs have pistols. I mean, play it as patiently as you want. You have the grenades to deal with it as well, and there you have it. Savage will outlast Polar Ace there as they look for a fight, but the CTs won't come out on top. So it's a bit of a switch up from Savage, but it's a welcome one as they manage to win that eco round securely this time. Money is looking a little bit better for Polar Ace, but still it's not enough to justify a full buy. They will be going for pistols, the occasional armor on a player like Snav, and Insane with double flashbangs looks to flash his team in. A conga line of CTs soon to make it towards mid. Oh, Shane is actually the first to find a frag. That's on the Secret Agent as well. Maybe this mid push won't exactly be necessary whatsoever. Semphis peeking around the corner. Timing might not be in his favor. Oh, indeed it isn't. Oh, Semphis is looking all the wrong places. And because of that, Polar Ace will be put in a perfect scenario. Semphis. That is so unfortunate. Timing not in their favor. Makes him drop a couple of players to Polar Ace's loving pistols, giving them 2 rifles to play with as they try to finish up this round. And my God, are they looking primed to do it at the moment. It's unfortunate for Insky that his team couldn't be there at the right time. But Semphis tries to get some revenge for his teammates as he takes down 1 player, or 2 for the round, and looks for a 3rd, but unfortunately not meant to be again. Now it's a 2 versus 2. This is already becoming too close for comfort for Savage. Even if they do manage to win out from here, dropping 3 guns is a worrying prospect, and especially having to retrieve the bomb doesn't make things much sweeter as well. Valens tries to take the fight, but loses it unfortunately. Thank God for Cutler, though. Drags them back to reality. Grounds them to a 7th round on the board. Savage looking much better towards the end of things there. At least the trade was there at last, but it's not without a lot of asterisks that they win that round. Now Polar Ace, because of that really fruitful double eco that they had, they can afford to buy up some of the fancy toys. Their AWP over towards mid. The spawn isn't quite there for Savage, so they don't even bother to peek. You see water control seized from the CTs as well. Look at all these adjustments from Polar Ace. This is absolutely gigantic. This is now going to be Savage's next big test. If they can deal with some of these changes that the CTs have brought to the table. It seems like they aren't having the best start to it so far. Insky trying to entry in, ends up struggling a little bit as he drops, smoke through into heaven. And a kill goes the way of the T's as well, so they seem healthy for the time being. But this bomb down is now going to be their next big issue, their next big trouble. Flash in. Water control still heavily in favor of the CTs at the moment, but it's maybe not going to be forever. The frags, although they're not looking terrible for Polar Ace at the moment, they're quickly traded out no matter how quickly they get them by Savage. Aptima does his best to try to win the 1 versus 2, but unfortunately cannot get the shots off. It's Secret Agent and Semphis working together to get 4 out of the 5 enemies, making it another round for Savage as they officially have won the half now. Putting up a pretty impressive showing in their first ESEA advanced match versus Polar Ace, a squad not to be reckoned with, that's for sure. But Polar Ace are back on pistols, and again, just knowing their track record, I'm still scared for Savage. Polar Ace have really done a good job on these eco rounds to really try to make the most out of them. And this might be a similar scenario. Found struggles on this shot. Indeed, he does. Insky, maybe you can go ahead and try to avenge your teammate. He gets 1, denying the rifle out of the hands of Snav, but Dare is still lurking behind the Molotov, behind the smoke. As Savage are now at a neutral game here. They can choose to take this wherever you want here. It looks like Secret Agent is trying to set up for a B fake. Try to drag some more rotations over from Polar Ace, but Dare isn't convinced. He's not going to go ahead and try to join the fun for now. He wants to try to outlast Insky and eventually retrieve that rifle if he possibly can, and timing works out for him perfectly. That's an AK to work with, but a player disadvantage. plus the economic disadvantage. It's looking better and better for Savage as time goes by. But it still could be dragged the other way. Sempis falls. Cutler actually manages to find two. A triple for the round, and that is something I couldn't count on. A spray transfer looks gorgeous. But from the third person, you might be confused on just how the hell that went down. Dare is now going to be, well, stuck in a 1-on-3, but he's not even going to bother going for it. He's perfectly content just trying to save this rifle for a rainy day as they enter the tail end of this half. It's beginning to look very, very good for Savage. There might be a player in Cutler going to snuff out Dare. Maybe the point of contact will work out for him in the end, but Dare perfectly content trying to stay safe at the moment here. They're right behind each other, but they don't even realize it. It's going to be 9 for Savage at the moment here as they're, again, starting to run away with this T-half. They've really had a good hold on Polar Ace's economy, more so than anything. Because of that, it's just been so difficult for Polar Ace to string multiple rounds together. Because even in the wins that Polar Ace have had, sometimes they've been very competitive. I mean, every player dropping something similar. It's scary, to be honest. But Polar Ace, they're not out of this one just yet by any stretch of the imagination. There's still 2 more rounds for them to gather together, a 6-9 half, which is respectable in its own way. I mean, if they have a strong T half, they can surely make up for that disadvantage in spades. Only 2 more chances on the CT side, however. And it comes in the form of Dare on his AWP. Snav with an AUG as well, watching his teammates back. Molotov through, and a follow-up flashbang from Cutler as they try to take Bathrooms control. They've taken Divider, but they haven't met their real challenge here in Dare. Again, he's still playing aggressively with this AWP, and he is going to find the first shot. That's huge onto Cutler. Again, this puts things solidly in favor of Polar Ace now. They haven't been very strong at getting that initial pick, but when they have, they've almost always converted it. Nice entry from Insky to try to, bring his team back, but it's really, really tough for them. They do get the bomb down, sure, but they're struggling on every fight otherwise. That was a bit of a mess. Aptima just jumps through the smoke and manages to pick off the last 2 remaining players from Polar Ace. Or from Savage, I should say, excuse me. 5 rounds for Polar Ace, and that's what I'm talking about. The conversion rates, once they get that first frag, have been very successful from Polar. And a pause comes through. Not sure if this is a talk about things or if it's something else entirely, but really, I think public enemy number 1 at the moment is Dare with that op. He is just a beast. Got a very vital frag. Flecked at just the right moment, and from there it was just kind of a round meant to be for Polar. Last round of the half, both teams are going to be able to afford a relatively healthy buy. I mean, full nades across the board. Can't get much better than that. Really, I've noticed that Savage, a lot of these fakes have done really, really well for them. A lot of the time, it's just, if they try to fake execute B, and then they just have one player going through connector to A, a lot of the time, the success rate has been phenomenal for them. I mean, look back to when Valence did it, to when Insky did it. I mean, it's something that if Polar Ace have yet to punish it, I mean, what's the harm in trying it again? Especially since you have a relatively comfortable lead at the moment. Insane. Eats about 30 damage of HE to the face. But Cutler is first to fall. Heads up play by Shane to pick up the first. He was one of my players to watch, and this is exactly why. He's doing pretty immense work for his team. Sure, he's only sitting at a 7-11 scoreline, 3rd on his team, but he's gotten definite impact frags. Same story with Aptima. The new addition to the roster. has not been disappointing. Top fragging, not in the server, but on his team, 15 and 10. And he looks to make it even more here as he gets smoked out over towards barrels. He'll now have to deal with the challenges of the T starting to push him at the moment. He stays alive for the time being, but they're able to initially struggle, but instead come out on top in the end, threading the needle to get all those headshots that they need. Valens will be left alone 1-on-5, but this is a near impossible situation. They know exactly where he is. It's a 6-9 half for Polar Ace. 6-9 half for Savage, I should say, as now Polar Ace will be having their shot on the T side. And those were two very comfortable rounds at the very end of things. They seemed to struggle for almost the entire first half, even when it came to gathering their economy together. But once they really started to pound out one solid round and not drop many players in the midst of it, get that first frag, they were able to convert into another one at the end of things. That was against a full gun round of Savage as well. So, I mean, definite good parts to take from how Savage, or from Polar Ace, excuse me, took that CT side, but really their next big challenge is getting over this hump of that 3-round differential that they have. That's where things get interesting for them. Small break before we go ahead and head back into the game. And indeed, it's over just like that. I want to take a look at the stats, excuse me, and see what the current score line is. Or not what the current score line is, but what the stats are looking like. Because I believe it was Cutler leading the charge for Polar Ace at the moment, or for Savage at the moment. Keep on mixing up these team names. Either way, mid-aggression is on the board here. They're dedicating 4 players over towards A. Insky all by his lonesome over at the B site. And Polar Ace, they're upping the pace immensely here. Insky has a nasty challenge awaiting him, but he has stepped up to the plate immensely. Picks up one nice tap to the dome, and really Savage are coming out on top of every single one of these pistol duels that they need. Insky eventually falls, though, despite holding the line for the time being, and Dare surprisingly actually picks up a second one as well. Dare maybe can find another one here if he plays his cards right, but this has already becoming relatively fruitful. Surely Savage are going to have to learn at this point, though, that Dare is going to try to take the long con. They have Bomb solidly in their favor, and Dare will most likely make noise no matter where he tries to come from, unless he goes the really, really long con through T-spawn into, like, Monster or something like that. But even then, Secret Agent might be ready for it. Dare seems like he wants to go through Connector, so that Squeaky Door will most obviously give up his position that he's done so well to conceal. There it is. Oh my god, he gets the dome anyway! Dare! What the hell is going on right now? He's won every single one of these duels so far, but unfortunately, he can't quite get the ace. It was a near miracle as he taps away at every member of Savage, but they're able to pull through in the end. L's Secret Agent, the veteran, keeps them in this game. Keeps them from the potential embarrassment that they would have faced. Had my heart racing. I can only imagine what it was like to be on the receiving end of it. Flash nade through over towards mid and a very aggressive smoke. That allows Valens to push up almost entirely towards the T-con. He doesn't know if they've made it through towards playground, and he's about to be in for a jump scare here. Valens kissing this T in the smoke will eventually give up his life to Snap. Luckily, the trade is there for the most part. Pistols not working too well for Savage at the moment, though. They seem to struggle against them. They give up 2 SMGs. But now they bring things to a halt, at a standstill. They'll wait for the CTs to try to push into them, try to even up this man disadvantage that they're facing. And a tag onto Semphis makes things a little bit more worrying. Polar Ace might just get away with theft here as they look to steal away this round. They have the man advantage, and they have plenty of tools to play with here. Utilities are only potential sore spot, only 2 flashbangs to speak of. But they're sticking together like one unit, making it so difficult for Semphis to get more than 1 or 2 frags here, and indeed, he's going to learn that the hard way. Insky and Secret Agent left to do it alone together. It's a 2-on-3. Polar Ace, they might have actually just done it by now. They have 3 SMGs to work with, and this round has completely shifted away from the favor of Savage. It's now looking better and better for Polar Ace. They know where both the Ts are positioned at the moment, though, so they can try to divide their fights, isolate their fights, as Secret Agent trades out his teammate, and Insky has a kit in hand to work with as well, so if he wanted to, he could theoretically stick this bomb. Flash through. Bomb stuck. Will he have the time to do it, though? 1 second left. Oh, my lord, Secret Agent! How have you done that? He just sticks the bomb and Dare doesn't call his bluff. And that allows Secret Agent, he has been massive in this game. Maybe he, always isn't topping the scoreboard like this round in particular, or excuse me, this game in particular, but he's gotten so many important frags at the end of things. He's gave Savage technically 2 rounds. I mean, think back to that pistol round where Dare nearly pulled off the Alamo, and well, he was the last one to eventually close out the murderer, and this second time around, he just stuck the bomb and really had no fear. Ended up working out for them in the end. But too many of these moments are too close for comfort. These are rounds that Polar Ace, in most other worlds, if it wasn't for, incredible clutch plays by Secret Agent or someone else, they would have won. I mean, that was an incredible attempt from Polar Ace. It's hard to really understate that. Because of that, they're going to get another very healthy buy-in. This is a real challenge for Savage here. It wasn't the anti-eco, it wasn't that piss around. It's dealing with this first gun round where, even though you just won 2 in a row, Polar Ace are still coming out on top when it comes to their artillery. They have plenty of nades to work with, full armor, Kriegs. I mean, you can't get much more stack than that. Plus, they got the bomb down. Almost everything is in Polar Ace's hands right now. They might have the ace up their sleeve to take this game back into their hands, or at least get some of that vital momentum that they need. Cutler is looking over towards Long. There's going to be a couple of Ts walking to his crosshairs relatively soon. He sees and backs up Secret Agent and Valens holding down bathrooms together. We'll be ready to deal with things in case it goes south. Smoke comes through. Valens with a counter smoke of his own, but they haven't cleared bathrooms where 2 players are waiting for them. A huge flash through allows Valens to get 1. And the trade from Secret Agent is okay enough, but it's not enough as Polar Ace continue to come out on top of these duels. And again, now Savage are on the back foot one more time. The trades were very messy from Savage there. They had some really important bathroom control, but they just kind of weren't able to convert those frags maybe how they would have wanted to. The angles that they're taking were risky. It's something you have to look back on and see exactly what happened. Luckily, though, Insky is going to go ahead and try to give them this round anyway. He doesn't give a damn about how well these trades are going because Semphis, even though he's the one to close it out, how the hell did Insky not manage to go down in the rubble of that fight? 2 essential kills at the end of that. And again, Polar Ace drop a round that they, in most universes, would have won if it wasn't for this, incredible individual play here or there. It's honestly crazy how many times Savage are getting away with this, and just, one little wrench thrown in their plans ends up leading them to drop the round, and now they're at a 6-round differential. These are very close rounds, too. It's like, it's not that Polar Ace are struggling to even start these rounds off. It's just like, right when they have it, it's a double kill that comes out from Insky. It's Secret Agent trading his team out. I don't know. It's a really strange scenario for Polar Ace to be in, but they're so close to tasting that victory and getting themselves back on the board. The scoreline is deceiving, to say the least. They'll have another shot at it, but might not be in this round. They're again stuck onto pistols, which, as we saw in round 17, they can be pretty lethal with. Oh, Cutler and Secret Agent boosting on top of each other. Look at this one. This is a potentially scary sight. Secret Agent still heavily in formation, though. Will go ahead, trade his teammate out. And these trades are looking much, much better than they were last round from Savage as they come out on top of these duels. Dare and Insane both have rifles to work with, but as Bomb is down, they're going to have to go through a labyrinth to retrieve it in a safe fashion. But they, I guess, cleared the labyrinth rather fine. Valens is completely backed off the position. Oh, he's expecting a full A rotate. That's kind of smart. Insky will tuck his way back in towards B. Sempis is going for the long con, though. Playing this game slowly. He might win these duels here. Timing would have to be in his favor, and indeed it is. Oh, it's full control for Sempis. He wins the first, taps down the second. The strongman strongholds his way into another round for Savage. They go up on 13. Polar Ace. Again, that wasn't the round for them to make this comeback start. They were on to pistols, but this is another scary prospect for them. This is the next hurdle for Savage to overcome. Kriegs, 4 of them, and a single AK and Eptima. Eptima? Oh god, that voice crack. Eptima still topping the server for his team, but he's had a relatively quiet couple of past rounds. On the cards right now, Polar Ace seem to be just trying to take some aggressive water control. Might be what the doctor ordered, because it goes unpunished at the moment. Valens spam through. No position given. He's going to go for second. Spots one player. Now he'll go for a dunk nade, most likely. Couple of taps through. Eptima ends up eating the brunt of it, however. Valens is still healthy. Oh, that nade. Oh, that's a nasty nade. If it was just a little bit further, if Eptima was, you know, tucked in that corner a little bit more, that could have been a potential frag right there. But it's all for naught. Eptima is now bleeding internally, and that makes him a little more of a liability for his team at the moment. Insky playing counter flash right now. We saw this a lot in the Open Grand Finals. Insky and Sempis together. He waits for a pop flash from his teammate to go ahead and peek Monster. It's a nasty combo if it can be executed, but sometimes they struggle with it. But Savage, they're near the end of this marathon. They've done so well outlasting Polar Ace so far, and they don't seem to struggle towards a finish line as you saw them do sometimes in the ESEA Open Grand Finals. They want to close this thing out right here, right now, but they're struggling to do it. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe they are still struggling. Different seasons, same problem. Bomb will most likely get planted here, but Cutler wants to throw a wrench into their plans yet again. Polar Ace will stay alive, though. It's going to be 2 versus 1 in favor of Polar Ace at the moment here. Secret Agent is going to be alone, left to his own devices to pull off a plate worthy of device, and unfortunately, the smoke dissipates, and so do Secret Agent's chances of winning that round. An unfortunate way to close things out, but Polar Ace are finally able to put together a round that they so desperately needed. They've really struggled at closing things out, but finally, they get past that finish line. And what is this? Cutler hasn't a give. I have many questions about that. Cutler staying in bathrooms at the moment. Polar Ace takes over. But what is Sempis or Cutler planning on doing with this Negev? I mean, they're against near full Kriegs from Polar Ace yet again. Actually, wait, it's only 3 Kriegs, excuse me. But, I mean, that must have been a misbuy, surely. I don't see anything happening with that. Well, because the weak artillery from Savage, they essentially have to give up all of their mid-control, not going for the aggressive stance on it. Instead, just playing sights. I guess we'll play to the strong suits a little more. Smoke comes in over towards Dumpster. Cutler will toss down his nice welcoming smoke as a welcome mat, and Cutler actually finds one with a Negev, surprisingly. Just instantly dome snap through the smoke. That's an unfortunate way to fall, but looks like his team will make up for that frustrating death. That was hilarious to see. Well, retake looks to come in. However, Savage haven't given up their hope on this round just yet. Haven't given up their grasp on this round, I suppose you could say. Sempis with the Deagle, most likely going to be first on the chopping block, though. I don't see this retake working out successfully for Savage whatsoever here. If they get a couple of guns out of the hands of Polar Ace, which they seem to be doing so far, maybe they could actually get something out of it. Wait, how are they doing this? If they actually stick the bomb right now, they have a decent chance of winning this. No, it's all far and gone. Insane with an insane triple kill. Not only does he win the round for his team effectively after taking down Secret Agent, but he gets 2 follow-up frags to make things a little bit better for his stats. Again, as soon as as soon as Secret Agent went down, the round was effectively over. I mean, that was their only shot to make that retake happen. Ends up being relatively expensive for Polar Ace, but it's something that Savage are still going to be, in the end, suffering from. The fact that they gave up so many guns, the CT economy just isn't in your favor, and now they're going to be forced onto pistols while they had the chance to at least save 2 rifles in the midst of things. A gamble play that ends up making them bet on red, but the roulette was black. They're black now over that round. And they're forced to try to recover this time. Pistol shots aren't through from Cutler. Essentially, the site is given up. And the round most likely is given up as well. Insane finds a first. Eptima with a second. Right now it's just essentially reading from the kill feed. And he gets a nice degoff though. And again, another scenario where if Savage can just try to get a couple more guns out of the hands of Polar Ace, it'd be better. They invested relatively minimally into this one here. Cutler, it might be in his best interest just to back up. Maybe he can get away with pushing bathroom for an AK or something of the sort, but not even going to be allowed that. Semphis falls. It's another round on the board for Polar Ace here, nearly up to double digits now. Again, this is exactly what I was saying. They still could very much show signs of life in this game. It's far from done, even after not posting the healthiest half on the CT side. Seem to be waking up a little bit more on the aggressing. And it looks like Savage are setting it for a nade stack. Interesting sense here, considering Savage, again, they don't really have much chance to buy up. And where is their destination? Is it towards Seacon, or are they just trying to split this up? Interesting. Valens. Wow, that's an unfortunate way to lose your life. Domed immediately by Dare. Huge frag, just essentially gives up so much information, so much just map control, really, in favor of Polar Ace. So that is huge. Snav is going to be lurking B alone. The rest of the stack of CTs all at this B site. Still nades in hand. They haven't really invested much into this one. If they can somehow just outgame Polar Ace, maybe they can get something going. But on this round, no. Maybe if they can get a couple of guns, again, that's probably the best you can hope for. Economic damage, not exactly a round win. Polar Ace are pretty much on the verge of getting that 10th round. We'll have a very competitive game. Either way. Again, don't let this round differential fool you. This has been an immensely close game at so many points. He's still in hand. Polar Ace are playing this so damn slow. Secret Agent sitting on the A-bomb side alone might just... What are you doing? Bring out your gun, Secret Agent. Insane. Wins this battle of attrition. Nades have yet to come through, and when they do, they're pretty lackluster. Half damage onto Dare. It's not too bad. But it's not exactly the end of times for Polar Ace either. 10 rounds on the board for them as they clean up, avoid the potential horror that Savage could have brought to the table. Polar Ace are looking better and better as time goes on here. Healthier and healthier as well, their economy is. I don't know why I said that like Yoda. Either way. Both teams are going to be able to bring their full guns to the table. Semphis picking up the AWP. The American Sniper. Looks to be peeked into Monster as well. This is something you see Insky do more than anything. Instead, he's relegated himself to just watching water aggressively, I should say. Semphis in such a dangerous position as well. Oh my lord, this could actually punish Snav if he were to try to peek a little more, but unfortunately, backs off the angle. Nade comes through. Semphis spots a pair of legs. Won't try to initiate that fight, though. Too much of a risk to really afford going for that at the moment. Shane And his team will go ahead, group up over towards mid. Bomb firmly placed in the hands of Insane. As Polar Ace look to get around number 11 on the board. Ooh, Secret Agent playing with fire here. As soon as the smoke dissipates, he could be in for a very nasty surprise. Luckily backs off the angle. If he were to repeat, Dare might come out on top. How the hell has Dare not spotted him just yet? They back off the position but make a lot of noise while doing it. So now surely Secret Agent has an idea of what's going on. The flash comes through, doesn't blind anybody. Eptima gets a frag. This is now looking almost perfectly in favor of Polar Ace. They have 30 seconds. They can go to either site that they want at the moment here, but wherever they do go, it is going to be their final destination. Valen's waiting behind the pillar at the moment, has no teammate to speak of at the moment. Shadows are not as well, or not in the favor of Polar Ace at the moment as well. Valen's dancing around the pillar, will eventually fall a dancing death. Bomb tries to get planted as well. Not much time to spare as they do it. They strike at the last possible moment. Insky falls as well, and it's Semptis versus 3. Again, a very near impossible clutch for him to win, but he doesn't care about impossible. Gets a nice, gorgeous frag onto Dare, but that is all that he will get. 13-11, Polar Ace. They're keeping themselves in this game. They're looking better and better as time goes on. It's really just hard to understate that. They're looking good, winning almost every single one of the duels that they face. I mean, think back to what happened, I believe it was with Secret Agent over at Long A or Short A. Flash came through, but, I mean, they just looked away at just the right moment. They tried boosting up on top of each other to see over the smoke. Didn't quite work out, but despite giving up that noise cue, wasn't punished enough by Secret Agent. He ended up losing the duel, and from there, it was just, you know, courtesy for Polar Ace to win that round, really. One of the big things that Polar Ace struggled with is closing out these rounds and opening up these rounds as well. They seem to have firm control over the mid-round for the most part. But now that they've ironed out those kinks, they are kind of on a tear at the moment. But what do Savage need to do to stop this? Most likely not bring pistols to the table, that's what. Bit of spam coming through. Insky, flash through from his teammates, actually catches Eptima off guard. Secret Agent is the one to find out the frag, and surprising amount of damage coming through. It looks like they're doing their best Polar Ace impression at the moment right now, as they only drop 2 players in the midst of things, and this is one lethal pistol round. No matter how things end up, even if Insane were to win this clutch, that's 4 guns out of the hand of Polar Ace. Insane looks to go ahead and try to close things out for his team. Secret Agent dancing around, avoids trying to take this fight. Doesn't matter though. Savage will seal the round away with pistols of all things. Secret Agent has just been showing up massively for his team, sitting at 21 frags, second highest in the server next to Eptima and Polar Ace, who has been no slouch for his team either. They'll continue their streak of dominance for now. Smoke from Monster comes through. So if Polar Ace were to try to up the pace, up the ante, they would have players waiting for them. Water controls quickly seized though from the T side, I should say, forcing a lot of this utility to be expended on the side of Savage. Oh, but that's all that's going to go their way. Hello there, Valens with an amazing flash to allow Cutler to pick up 2 fantastic kills, take back that water control that Polar Ace seemed to work so hard for. That was out of nowhere as well. This timed aggression is definitely more the favor of Savage at the moment. Nice frag from Snap to entry into the B site. He looks for even more. Unfortunately, he can't go for thirds. They're hungry for this round, Polar Ace, and they might be able to bite a chunk out of Savage. They're forced out of position with that Molotov. Dare down to 8 HP, Shane on 43. Neither of them are very healthy, but Dare is just even more of a liability. He's just bleeding internally. He's on life support, however you want to describe it, as a 2v2 retake begins. It does favor Savage at the moment, even more so as Shane drops, leaving it up to Dare, the man on 8 HP. The legend looks to close things out here, but it's nothing short of a legendary closeout from Cutler and Secret Agent. 3 kills in the round for Cutler. Again, he's been no slouch either. It's been really Cutler and Secret Agent trading hands of who's taking the lead. Savage are now 1 round away from closing things out. versus Polar Ace in their first game of ESEA Advanced Season 33. This mesh of 46-2 and Peaker's advantage coming together to create this monolith of a advanced team. Looks to cause a lot of damage. Polar Ace is a similar scenario as well, though, and how about you just close things out right now if you can? Flashes through, ends up blinding Inskeep, but they still come out on top with a frag at the most vital of moments. Cutler backing up over towards mid. They've essentially just effectively given up all their control, but Inskeep's still lurking inside of Connector. 2 guns given up from Polar Ace makes this a near impossible task, and it's become even more impossible. A secret agent drops too. He's on borrowed time there as he looks to pull off an immense clutch. We saw him try it and get very, very far on the pistol, but against rifles, against 3 players who are looking to end you right here, right now, it's not meant to be. Savage will win their first game of ESEA Advanced Season 33 in a very, very close fashion versus Polar Ace. They ran away with it, Savage, towards the end of things, but my God, it was hard to understate how close that first half was. It was neck and neck for a lot of it, and it ended up just favoring the opposition in the end of things. Savage, with a very nice shower, go ahead and make things sweet for their team. Off to a good start, and a much needed improvement over that opening that they had in ESEA Open. We are going to go ahead and close things out from here on out, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name has been Ito, and is Ito, no matter how you try to slice it. We'll be back with more ESEA Advanced and other ESEA action, maybe even other leagues. We'll be back soon. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.